Hi, my name is Greg Troxell, pastor of Harmony Bible Church in Carmel by the Sea, host of Harmony Bible Radio. I'd like to talk to you about ministry discernment and understanding your vocation for ministry and how you can go about preparing yourself and nurturing yourself further to be an agent of God in this world. See, each one of us is called to the Great Commission. Go make disciples, baptize, and teach them. But we do that differently. One of the problems that's happened over the years is that we've come to judge ourselves against the standards of other people. Now, in all of that, one of the things that we need to do is be able to recognize and honor who God has made us. See, the body works together and knit together under Christ, who's the head of the church. And to do that, Paul is very clear in a metaphorical kind of way in the recorded passage there where he says, can the hand be the ear? Can it say that it does not need the eye or does not need the foot? And the answer is no. Now, when we move beyond metaphor, we need to start understanding the complexity of each individual. And so I created, over the years of ministry, since it began back in 1989, a field guide for ministry discernment and discipleship. Now here's what it addresses. 11 different aspects of the human being, your soul, your being, your essence, and what you have to offer God as a steward. So that's what we are. We're stewards of all that we are and all that we have in our possessions. So at the top layer, what we really look at is your spiritual vocation. Now, others may call this the fivefold gifts, but it is the apostle, prophet, evangelist, shepherd, and teacher. These are the archetypes that from birth are instilled inside of you. Now, when we look at sociobiology, we understand that there is a nature that's inside of each one of us, and much of this is genetic. Other parts of this is what God is kindling inside of you. And so this vocation is key to understanding how you function. But see, even as an archetype, that is not sufficient because it doesn't define you in its completeness. And there are other layers to your ability to be God's agent in this world. Now, one of the next is your spiritual gifts. Many of us are familiar with these. In the field guide, we focus specifically on the spiritual gifts listed in Romans 12. And you can add others if you like, but this is where we've narrowed it down and focused here because it is one deployable as we look at those gifts that are there in the Romans 12 passage. So here's an example. If you are the vocation of a teacher and you have spiritual gifts of administration and mercy, it's going to look very different than if your vocation is as a teacher and your spiritual gifts were to be, let's say, helps and administration. See, the manifestation of your vocation as a teacher is going to play out in a different role, and you're going to have a different function in the body of the church of Christ all around and as you interact with others. So that both layers are important. In addition to that, as a behavioral psychologist, what we need to also understand is that there's another layer of your particular behavioral style. Now, I would affirm, while I'm licensed passed with Myers-Briggs and have also used DISC, what I really like is the PDP or the ProScan surveys with dynametric professionals. So as a certified dynametric professional, what we then provide you is an analysis of your behavioral strengths. And in this aspect of positive psychology, we help you affirm the you who you really are and understand the stresses that you're going on inside of you from that which is driven by outward sources of change as well as your own aspirations for changing and development. We can identify all of that and then coach you through how to leverage that and understand how that fits with your vocation and your spiritual gifts. So here's an example. You might be familiar with the term of extraversion. Well, if as a teacher with the profile of a high extrovert, you will manifest that differently than if you're a low extrovert. Yeah, in PDP, we don't call you an introvert. It's just a degree of extroversion, or a degree of dominance, or a degree of pace, or a degree of conformity. That intensity allows us to look at both you as an individual and also you in a population norm. So when we talk about trying to find the right person to fit your team, we can now start to look at all these different qualities, their vocation, the spiritual gifts, and their behavioral style, so that we can match with what you need there. Now, that's not enough, because there's some other elements, like how deep is their faith? How far have they traveled on the journey of discipleship, that path of discipleship that we talk about in Harmony Bible? How are they currently postured in terms of their aspiration of engagement? How are they skilled with different aptitudes and abilities? Photography or speaking or a voice or no voice. How are those going to play? What's their availability? What have they been through in life that gives them a particular edge and ability to use that in their testimony? I mean, if they're a cancer survivor, they may have then the ability to show mercy, or to be able to teach, or to be able to provide administration to those who are suffering and surviving cancer. It goes beyond that as we look at the postures of Christian spirituality. How do you pursue and express your faith, both in development and also in the way that you interact with God? So in that way, we can help you cultivate disciplines of faith that are tried and tested from the generations, and at the same time not fit you into a practice of spirituality that is not congruent with your own posture. Well, in all of this, we find these different ways to understand a person. And in the midst and down at the core and another level is what we call the motivational spectrum. And that motivational needs that you have. And when we study your motivational needs, then we're able to help you live a life of vitality and virtue. So with this brief introduction, I'd invite you to consider completing the field guide and engaging in a deeper level through some coursework with me or through a workshop or retreat. And I appreciate your time today. Have a great day.